The tension in the courtroom today was palpable. Something major was brewing on day 25 of the federal RICO trial against Sean Diddy Combs. From the moment the judge stepped in, everything shifted. The stakes were higher than ever as the defense and prosecution clashed, not only over legal strategies, but also over something far more explosive: leaked information. A leak, possibly linked to a juror and the media, had everyone on edge. The judge, usually calm, didn't hold back. He was furious, and the repercussions were looming large. This wasn't just about the trial anymore. It was about trust, control, and the integrity of the process itself. And if that wasn't enough, things took an even more bizarre turn. In a courtroom where tension was already running high, the jurors were subjected to something so shocking, it could change everything. Imagine being forced to watch explicit tapes in court. Yes, graphic tapes that only added to the discomfort already building. But here's the twist. These tapes weren't just part of the case. They were part of Diddy's personal life, revealing a side of him most of us have never seen. The jury's reactions. Visibly awkward, some couldn't hide their discomfort, others leaned in. What did this mean for Diddy's defense? Keep watching as we dive deeper into the day's shocking events and break down what it all means for the future of this trial. It didn't take long for things to escalate once the courtroom doors opened. Judge Subramanian, who's known for his measured and calm approach, came in with a fury that shocked everyone. He was furious, not just over the trial's progression, but over a major breach of protocol, a leak of sensitive information to the media. This wasn't just a minor slip-up. It was a huge deal. The courtroom buzzed with speculation. Was the leak connected to a juror, or was it a media outlet like TMZ? The judge didn't name names, but he made it clear. Someone was lying. The judge's anger wasn't just an isolated outburst. It was a warning shot. He told both the prosecution and defense that if this leak happened again, there would be serious consequences. Phones could be seized. Criminal charges were on the table. And the worst part? This was just their one and only warning. Courtrooms don't usually see judges like Subramanian lose their cool. His calm, collected demeanor is typically the norm. But today, he wasn't playing around. In a case that's already taken unexpected turns, this breach of trust added a new layer of complexity, reminding everyone that this trial is about far more than just Diddy's alleged crimes. The integrity of the entire judicial process was on the line, and Judge Subramanian wasn't about to let it slip. When the judge dropped the hammer over the media leak, the entire courtroom took notice. This wasn't a minor issue. In fact, it could derail the entire trial. The leak involved a juror, number 7 to be exact, who allegedly received a mysterious text asking if he was the one being removed from the jury. The leak wasn't confirmed, but the fallout was already massive. The judge's warning was clear. If this happened again, people would face the consequences. Phones would be seized, contempt charges could be filed, and there was the possibility of sworn testimony. But why did this matter so much? This was not just about some behind-the-scenes gossip leaking to the press. This was about trust. Every person in that courtroom, from the defense attorneys to the jurors themselves, was entrusted with the responsibility of keeping the case fair. When that trust is broken, the whole system collapses. The leak created a cloud of suspicion. Who was behind it? Could the integrity of the trial be compromised even further? The judge's anger was not only about the breach, it was a clear signal that this was a make or break moment for the trial. And with all eyes on the case, the pressure was on to keep things under control. The media was watching, the public was watching, and now the judge made it clear he was watching too. Today, the courtroom was forced to endure a level of discomfort that few trials have ever seen. The jury, already sitting through a difficult case, was shown more than just charts and testimony. They were forced to watch explicit, graphic videos, a decision that would push the limits of any jury. These weren't just ordinary adult films. No, these tapes were part of the prosecution's case against Diddy, linking him to disturbing, illicit activities. As the videos played, you could practically feel the tension in the air. Some jurors could barely stomach what they were watching, visibly recoiling at the graphic footage. One juror even yanked off his headphones in frustration, unable to continue. It wasn't just awkward, it was uncomfortable. For others, however, there was a curious shift. A couple of jurors seemed almost too engaged, leaning in as though they were looking for answers in the tapes. The reactions were mixed, but one thing was clear. These videos had an undeniable impact on everyone in that room. But what did this footage actually show? The tapes were part of a larger series of disturbing receipts that the prosecution was hoping would seal the case against Diddy. Flight records, hotel damage, and text messages between Diddy and his associates all pointed to a pattern of manipulation and illegal behavior. The tapes were shocking, yes, but they were only part of the evidence the jury was forced to digest. How would these uncomfortable revelations affect their verdict? Only time would tell, but there was no doubt about it. Today, things went to a whole new level of unsettling. The prosecution's case took a dramatic turn today as Agent Penland presented new evidence linking Diddy to a troubling pattern of illegal activity. Among the most shocking revelations, the so-called freak-off chart, a detailed breakdown of dates, locations, and participants tied to Diddy's alleged illicit activities. The evidence included flight records, hotel receipts, and more, essentially a trail of receipts that, when pieced together, told a disturbing story. One of the most eye-catching pieces of evidence was the $46,000 hotel damage charge. Yes, you read that right. $46,000 for petty cash loss and penthouse damage. What could cause that much damage? What was in that penthouse? The prosecution suggested this wasn't just about one isolated incident. No, these were recurring patterns of behavior tied to Diddy's assistants and aliases used to cover up illegal activities. From 2010 to 2015, the hotel damage, flight records, and expenses all pointed back to Diddy's personal network, suggesting that not only was he involved, but he used his corporate resources to clean up after his mess. This was more than just a string of bad decisions. This was a series of intentional actions, an ongoing, organized pattern. The recurring hotel damage, the fraudulent names used to book rooms, and the flights tied to these so-called freak-offs weren't random. They were deliberate, and they were illegal. Perhaps the most chilling moment of the day was when the jury was shown evidence from a 2016 hotel incident involving Diddy and his ex, Cassie Ventura. This wasn't just about a violent altercation. This was a story of control, manipulation, and fear that unfolded through a series of text messages. The prosecution played these messages for the jury, laying bare the emotional abuse Cassie allegedly endured. The texts sent by Diddy in the aftermath of a brutal assault were shocking. In one message, Diddy wrote, "I'm about to be arrested." Cassie's response, "You are sick for thinking it's okay." But the texts weren't just about physical abuse. They spoke volumes about the emotional manipulation Cassie suffered. Another message from Cassie revealed a heartbreaking admission. "I'm not a ragdoll. I'm someone's child." The prosecution was using these messages not only to show the pattern of violence, but to reveal Diddy's calculated attempts to control Cassie through fear and coercion. What followed was a deeper dive into Diddy's tactics of control. His use of power to silence and intimidate. The jury was forced to see the personal toll of Diddy's alleged actions, and it's clear that these texts weren't just about one incident. They painted a larger picture of a toxic, manipulative relationship, and this wasn't the first time. Cassie had been sending messages for years about how Diddy treated her, even comparing him to Ike Turner, one of the most infamous abusers in history. It wasn't just about physical harm, it was about psychological control that lasted for years. As the trial moves forward, the stakes couldn't be higher. From explosive courtroom outbursts to disturbing evidence that continues to pile up, it's clear that this case is far from over. The leaked information, shocking videos, and damning receipts have only added fuel to the fire, making it hard to predict where things will go next. Will Diddy's defense hold up against such overwhelming evidence, or will the prosecution's case be strong enough to send him down? The jury's reactions today speak volumes, and we can only wonder how much longer this dramatic trial will drag on before a verdict is reached. What do you think will happen next in this case? Will the defense manage to turn the tide, or is Diddy facing his downfall? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on the latest twists and turns in this high-stakes legal battle. Stay tuned, we've got plenty more to cover.